Yeah, let's start. So, just to give a recap, so yesterday we have started the OOPS, right? We have discussed what is a class, object. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay. So, I have seen what is class, we have seen what is an object, and we have seen inside the class we can have constructor, right? Which is the init method, right? Which gets triggered every time an object is created. You don't need to separately call this in constructor. So once any object is created from this class, this gets automatically triggered, right? And then we have seen methods. What are methods? Any functions written inside the class are methods, right? And we can call them using the object dot this method. Okay, you can use object dot method. So if there are any methods, okay, if there are any methods available in the class, so those will be, sorry, if there are all the methods in the class are available for the objects, right? If you're having object 1 o1, so o1 can have access to all these methods m1 m2 m3. The way how you can access is object dot method, just like list dot method. So this is what we have seen, right? And then we also seen what is abstraction, right? We also seen what is abstraction is like to save the private attributes, right? To save the private attributes we use a concept of abstraction. And here what we are doing, here we are using the underscore, right? To underscore to save the attribute name. And using that, what was the advantage here? By using double underscore, any third person cannot directly use object dot attribute name. You should also go by object dot underscore class name underscore underscore attribute name. Okay, so this is just a recap which we have seen yesterday. Okay, so yeah, and there is actually one more point yesterday so I missed to mention. So we have this underscore underscore string, right? So the way how it gets triggered is whenever you try to print the object, right, this gets automatically triggered. Okay, for example, I have this class, right? I have this class, this is an constructor. Okay, and this is what, this is underscore string, right? Now if I print this, it is triggering only, as you can see, what it is triggering only constructor. That's why only this is getting printed, only this is getting printed. Okay, by default the constructor init function gets triggered. Now, but whenever you trying to print this object, right, now I'm printing the object p2, printing. So whenever an object is getting printed, the underscore underscore string underscore underscore, this function gets automatically triggered inside the class. Okay, this is a class, and if you have a function string underscore string function, this gets triggered whenever you are trying to print the object. You don't need to again call it. Just like how when an object is created, the init function gets triggered, the string function gets triggered whenever we are printing the object. As long as you don't print, it won't get triggered. But if you're trying to print it this way, this gets automatically triggered. Okay, as you can see inside this, it got triggered and it is saying return string is getting printed along with the self dot name, and self dot name is a Rahul we are passing. Okay, this is what it's printing, and it will also I'm also returning the self dot name. Okay, I'm returning the name. This is the print statement, this is the return statement. Okay, this gets triggered, okay, whenever you are trying to print the object. Fine. So as I said, so you can have different methods inside this class also, yeah, right? And you can call them with the method. Okay, method dot, just like how you are accessing this surname, object dot surname, you can also say object dot add. Okay, it will call the method. Okay, that is one more point. Fine. So then we have seen the methods, and this we have seen the bad practice. We have seen the abstraction, underscore underscore. Just to recap, so if you are having underscore underscore, then this will be treated as a private attribute, and you can access it by, you cannot directly access it by surname. You need to access it by underscore person name underscore. sorry, underscore person name underscore underscore surname. Okay, you need to also include the underscore class name additionally. Okay, so that's fine. uh, I hope we are good with that. So now let's try to uh, see the next topic. Okay, next topic is inheritance. Fine. So inheritance is nothing but it is a concept where you can make all the properties or methods of a particular class available to another class. Okay, so if at all you think, okay, if at all you think a class, particular class C1, and there are C2. Okay, so if you think the C1 can be a subclass of C2, right? Or in other words, this particular class, okay, this particular class can, okay, can access all the methods of this C1. Okay, instead of writing again all this, you can directly link these two. Okay, as seen here, for example, we are having a vehicle. Okay, and we are having what? We are having car, right? Now what is the relationship between vehicle and car? All cars, right, all cars are vehicles, but all vehicles are not cars. Agree? All cars are vehicles, because if it is a car, it is a vehicle. But all vehicles are not car, because vehicles could be bike, truck, bus, anything. Okay, so that means, but if at all it is a car, okay, that is a vehicle. That means a car can use all the properties of vehicle. Okay, but a vehicle cannot use, or may or may not use all properties of car, because some of the properties of car might not be applicable to vehicle. Because let's say you are saying car, or we have car rooftop. Okay, there is a function just to check for the rooftop of a car. Okay, that is very specific to car. You cannot use that in the bike, because bike, if at all you have a bike in this vehicle, okay, but this rooftop does not make any sense for the bike. But bike also comes under vehicle, right? Bike also comes under vehicle, but this particular rooftop function, which is available specifically to car class, is not applicable to car bike, because there is no rooftop scenario in the bike, right? So that's why you cannot use all the properties of car to the vehicle, but every vehicle property you can use it for the car. Okay, every vehicle property, whatever property have for a vehicle, you can use it for a car, because car is also vehicle, right? That's why what we are doing, I want to use every property or attributes of this vehicle in car. Okay, I want to use every, because car is a subclass of vehicle, right? Car is a subclass of vehicle. What are the subclass of vehicle? Car could be one, bike could be one, taxi could be one. These are all subclasses of vehicle. These are all comes under one single heading called as vehicle, right? So bike can also use all the properties of vehicle. Car can also use all the properties of vehicle. Taxi can also use all the properties of vehicle. Okay, but car can have car can have individual its own methods. Bike can have individual own methods. Truck can have individual own methods. What if at all a truck is having a specific method that may or may not be useful for bike? Okay, and if a bike is having a specific method that may or may not be useful for car, same thing goes for car. Okay, these are individual, but all of these comes under one single heading called as vehicle, and all of this, right, can be used, can use the vehicle method or attributes. Okay, so in other words this is parents, right, and these are childs. Okay, so each child might be different, each child's interest and his sensibility might be different, but everybody will belong to the same parent, right? So that's the reason you can, what you can do is, every parent, sorry, every child is actually subclass of parent, right? So they can use all the properties of the parent, right? But parent might not use all the properties of child, because each child is different, right? So in that scenario, what we are going to do here is, since vehicle, all the properties of vehicle can be used by car, right? I want to use vehicle as a inherit. I want to inherit. Okay, inherit means what? I want to like take use, right? We say, right, inheritance. Yeah, normally what is a, I'm getting inherited from my ancestors. That means the property is getting from my ancestors, or from my forefathers, right? So similarly, the properties of vehicle I want to sorry, the properties of vehicle I want to take it and give it to car, right? That's why I'm saying car is trying to inherit the properties of vehicle, right? This is a notation, Python notation, right? So here if you see, so initially I'm defining a class, and inside that I'm defining a function, okay, method, vehicle info. That's fine. Now if you see, there is, I'm creating a child class, okay. So right, so how you know it is a child class? Because this is trying to utilize or inherit the properties of some other class, right? When a class is trying to inherit some other properties of another class, right, that class will become child class, okay. And which class it is trying to inherit, that will automatically become parent or base class, okay. That will automatically become parent or base class. So here for car, all the properties of vehicle are now available. How? The moment when you say car of vehicle, that means all the methods or attributes of the vehicle class will be available for car class, okay. And inside that, car is having its own function, okay, its own method, okay. Now this car info is the method of car class, and vehicle info is a method of the vehicle class, okay. But now because we are using, okay, the vehicle class name over here in the car class name, that means we are inheriting the properties of vehicle class inside the car class. How we are going to do? You need to mention class name, like child class name, inside bracket parent class name, that is vehicle, okay. These should be class names, okay. Vehicle is a class name, right? So that name you should give over here, and this is a car class name, okay. Did you get, guys? Is it clear? I mean, the theory part, like, did you understand what is inheritance? We'll see examples, however.
Yes.
Okay, so fine. So now if you see, this is how you are going to create an object, right? Observe, this is case sensitive, this is small c, capital C, okay. But the way how you are going to create an object is object of which class? Car class, okay. I'm creating object of car class, okay. That's fine. Now you can and what is the way how you can access a method? Object dot method, right?
Dot method.
Object dot method. So similarly here also what I'm doing, object is car dot which method I'm trying to access? The vehicle info. But is there any vehicle info in the car class? Because let me take a small pen, okay. See, car is an this car is an object of car class, okay. That's fine. Now I'm coming here, car object, fine. What I'm trying to use, I'm trying to use vehicle info. But in this car class, that means in this car class, is there any object, sorry, method called as vehicle info? No, there is no vehicle info, right? But still you are able to get this output, because the way whenever you are inheriting this vehicle class inside the car class, automatically you are giving access to its methods also. So that's why car.vehicle info, what it will do, it will try to take this car object and access the vehicle method. That's why it is printing inside vehicle class, okay. That's why it's printing inside vehicle class. Second thing, but if you say car.car info, if you say car.car info, so obviously it is taking this object and car info only, okay. It's printing inside car class, inside car class. Is it clear? So here, even without the, what is importance, what we have done, even without writing this vehicle info, okay, you are able to access this, okay. That is the property of inheritance. I don't want to write, this is small example. So if you can extend this, there might be hundreds of functions in the vehicle class, okay. The actual base skeleton vehicle class, tire function and engine function and the body function and the mileage function, there are a lot of functions, okay. I don't want to write again all those in car, okay. I can just go through, I can just read them, and what I can do, I can just say, I can just create my car object and just use car dot tire, car dot this, car dot that, okay. I can just use them and manipulate them. I don't want to write all of those. Same thing some other guy can do. bike, if there is some other class called as bike, he can also just access all those methods. If you can just do inheritance, if you just do vehicle dot bike dot vehicle, just how we are doing car dot vehicle, he can also access all the methods of this vehicle class. Okay, so that's how all every child, like car or bike, every child, these are all childs, are inheriting the properties and attributes of the main parent class, which is a vehicle class. Okay, so the way how you can understand here is, first you, there will be notation like this, which says that this is getting inherited. And after that, how you can use here is same thing, the moment when using object dot method name, but this method name, it is picking up from the parent class. Okay, is this clear, guys? Now we will see. So once we studied this, automatically that you should have some doubts, like see, what if the same method, if you are having the same method, so if I'm in vehicle info over here, so if I have the vehicle info over here also, right? So then what is getting it trigger? If I'm not having, what is good? There are like few cases, so which we are going to discuss, right? Because here I'm not saying see car dot vehicle info, right? So it is directly going and picking it from vehicle info from parent class. This is coming from picking from where? Parent class. Okay. Car info is picking from where? Child class. Okay, but where I'm mentioning that, I'm not mentioning anywhere, it is only directly going and picking up. So if at all both are getting picking up from parent class, then you can think, okay, every time it will pick from parent class. But if both are picking up from child class, then you can understand. But as you can see here, vehicle.info is getting picked from what? Parent class. And car.info is getting picked from where? Child class. Okay, then you should have a doubt like, okay, how it is happening? Right, so in which case it will go to parent class, in which case it will go to child class. And is there any way we can control, we can tell the interpreter, hey, for this method I want it from parent class, for this method I don't want it from parent class. Okay, we'll see those things, right? But is the simple example clear, guys? Did you understand how you can use the inheritance?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, cool. So now there are like few types of inheritance. Okay, first let's see multiple inheritance. Okay, so if you see the multiple inheritance, so it's simple. So as you can see, yeah, so you have a person class. Okay, inside the person class you are having a method called as person. This is person method. Okay, person info everything. Next you have having what? You are having company class. Okay, and this is the company method, which is company info. Next you are having a child class, okay, which is employee. Here what I am doing, I am trying to inherit two classes. Okay, in above scenario, I have inherited only one class, one parent class, but here I am trying to inherit two parent classes. Okay, one is person is a parent class, second parent class is a company, child class is employee. So now employee want to access person and company, both parent classes. Okay, this is the way how you can write, just come on and write another parent class name. And here we are having a child method, which is employee info. Okay, and after that you are creating an object of child. Fine. And after that you can directly same thing, it's just an extension of one more class. So employee dot person info. So there is no person info in employee, which is an employee object, right? And which is a child object. Okay, in the child class there is no person info. Where it is picking up from, this employee dot person info means it is going and picking it from this person info. Okay, so you are getting this value, what you are getting inside person class name. Okay, it's printing inside person class name. After that company info, so it is picking up from company info. Okay, inside company class details, inside company class details. And employee info, it is picking up from employee info. Okay, inside employee class print, inside employee class print. Okay, so this is multiple inheritance. Okay, like means inheriting multiple classes, like that you can inherit different things, region, any number of classes you can inherit just by giving the comma. Okay, so all those methods will be automatically applicable, accessible to this employee child object. Okay, this is multiple inheritance. Now if you see one more thing, that is there is something called as multi-level inheritance. Okay, in multi-level inheritance, as you can see, so you are having a base class. Okay, you are having a base class which is vehicle. And we are having a child class which is car. Okay, and you are inheriting the properties of vehicle. You are inheriting the vehicle class in car class. How? As you can see here, you are inheriting. After that, you are having one more child class, okay, which is sports car. Now you are inheriting this car as parent class. Okay, so vehicle inside that car, inside that sports car. Okay, so car is inheriting vehicle, sports car is inheriting car. So for car, this is parent, and for sports car, this is parent. Okay, it's a multi-level inheritance. Okay, because one class is a parent class to another class, and similarly, the same class is child to some other class. Okay, it's a multi-level. But in previous example, what we have seen, we are seeing a person, we are seeing a company, right? And we are having an employee. Both person and company are coming together as parent classes. Okay, there is no change system. These both are at same level. Person and company both are at same level, and employee child class is inheriting both of them. Okay, it is treating both of them as parents. Okay, but for here, for example, if you see for sports car, this guy is parent, this guy is grandparent. Okay, this guy is a grandparent, right? So this is multi-level. So now if you see vehicle class, car class, sports car, and now I'm creating an object of the sports car. Okay, I'm creating an object of the sports car, and using sports car dot vehicle info, right? Using sports car dot vehicle info. So same thing. So first is it is trying to pick it from where? It is trying to pick it from here. Okay, and car info, it is trying to pick it from where? It is trying to pick it from here. And sports car info, it is trying to picking it from here. Okay, same scenario, but it is having at the multi-level, right? So if you want to, what's the difference you might have. So in the previous example, if you're having a person, if you're having an sorry, company, right, and if you're having an employee, right, there might be some specific methods available in person, there might be some specific methods available from company. Okay, it might be completely different to each other. But as an employee, I want both of them, so that's why I will inherit both of them as parents. Okay, I will inherit both of them as parents. This might be completely different. So person will have its own methods. What methods person will have? Name, age, gender, location, that will be the methods of person. Okay, and company will have what? Company will have, let's say, shares, headquarters, okay, or its different branches, CEO, different. So these are its different methods. Okay, the methods of person and methods of company are completely different. But for employee, I want both. I want the methods of company also, I want the methods of person also. For me, they both are at the same level. So that's why I will inherit both of them as a parents. Okay, that is multiple inheritance. Okay, because there might be no relation between these two. In multiple, there might be no relation between the actual parents. Okay, but as a child, I will inherit both of them, right? But here, coming to multi-level, okay, it's a chain system. Obviously you will have a vehicle, right, and you have a car. So the moment when you are inheriting car, the vehicle here, or car, so all the properties of vehicle are now accessible to car, right? Why I will inherit? I am going to inherit because only when I think I want to use some or all the methods of vehicle, right? So now when I go to sports car, right, now sports car is also a vehicle. Okay, indirectly sports car is also a vehicle, right? But I don't want to again inherit vehicle, right? Because as you can see in sports car, I don't see any vehicle. Why? Because already this car is having vehicle, right? So when sports car is having car, it is indirectly having vehicle also. So I will just say, since car is having vehicle, I will just say sports car is having car. So since this car is already having products of vehicle, so I will again use. When I will use this? Because when I know that my parent class has already inherited a class which I want, right? So my, as a sports car, I want the properties of vehicle, but that is already done by my parent, that is car has already took all the properties. So I will just use my parent, I will just take car, by which I will automatically get vehicle also, right? So in that scenario, you can go by the multi level inheritance. Okay, so but if you are not sure if this both the parents are having any relation between them, then obviously you cannot inherit this way. You should go for the multiple inheritance. Okay, they will be at the same level. This will be at the top to down level. Okay, this is parent to this parent to this. Okay, but the way how you can access the attributes is same, one and the same. Just object name dot method name. Okay, fine. Yeah, so this is again the same thing how you can access. But now there's one more concept called as, yeah, overriding methods, right? So now if you see just now before, sometime I was mentioning like how you can access methods from parent class only or child class. Okay, so now here if you see, let's say you are having a vehicle, right? And you are having something called as car. Okay, now car is became a child. Why? The moment when you see inherited, this will become child, this become parent. Okay, but now in interesting point is, there is a method, class method called as max speed. Okay, and there is also a child method called as max speed, same method. Okay, now if I run this, if I run this, what I'm getting, what is getting triggered? 200 kilometers. That means this is getting triggered. That means child class is getting triggered. Why? Because of the overriding, right? So here whenever you have the same name methods, okay, same name methods in both parent and child class, in parent and child class, the child class method will override the parent class method. Okay, so this gets overridden by this. Okay, or you can say the child class method gets triggered, right? As you can see, even though the same, but I'm not specifying anything. Okay, I'm not specifying to go over here, because if you see over here, the moment when you have, when I have the object dot vehicle info, object vehicle info, it is, I'm not saying where to go, it is only checking, it is only checking and directly picking from this vehicle class, right? And it is giving inside vehicle. And when I say car info, it is only going and picking it from car and saying inside class. Okay, similarly here also it will do the same thing, here also it will do the same thing, but here what happens is, here you are having same method name. Earlier you are not having the same method name, but here when I'm saying object dot max speed, if this max speed is present in, first it will go and check, but there is a conflict here. It is having in the child class also, it is having in the parent class also. Okay, whenever there is a conflict, right, then it will use a overriding. So what gets overridden? This parent class gets overridden with the child class. Okay, that means what, this gets used. Okay, this will override and this will win, right? So child class gets overridden, so child class will override. Okay, so that's why it is able to print max print is 200 kilometers. Okay, is,
Uh, yes, Santosh. Now, can you please create object for instead of car, create object for vehicle.
sorry.
Car equal to. Can you please create
Mm-hmm.
object for instead of car in the above itself, not in the same in the verb. Yeah, you can comment it out. First line. Yeah. Now
Okay,
you can call car. I mean vehicle dot next.
Okay.
it will print 100 only, right? Because vehicle is what, vehicle is a parent object. This
Yeah.
vehicle does not know anything about this.
It's only it's not even called.
Yeah, no, this is
Yeah.
straightforward, right? Because when I'm creating a veh and making it as a vehicle object, that means object of vehicle class, that means what? So it does not know, this veh does not know that something car is existing. It will not know only, right? Because only a car object will know there is a vehicle object. Why? Because
Yeah.
when I say car of car, so this car object is belonging to this, and here in this car only I am inheriting the vehicle. So this guy is aware of this one and also this one, because by default when I'm doing car of car is a car object, so obviously he will aware of this one. And this car class is inheriting vehicle, then he'll also have indirectly access to this. Okay, a
Yes.
child. But when I'm saying vehicle, so obviously vehicle is not inheriting anything, right? So where this vehicle is getting used, that is none of this business. Okay, this might be used somewhere. Okay, but this guy will not know, right? Whenever this guy is getting created, we object of vehicle class, he will just go and sit here. And here what is there? Only these two are there. He's aware of only those two. But whenever a car guy is getting created, he will come and sit here. Okay, but here what is happening, he will also see, hey, I'm belong to car class, that means I can use this, but my car class is also using vehicle class, then he'll also think he can also use this. Okay, so that's why now this vehicle class cannot print this. I was saying the same thing. Vehicle class cannot print the this one. That means parent class, parent object. What is VH? This is a parent class object. This is parent, right? Parent class object cannot print the child class. Okay. Uh, so if you call direct by class name, is it called single inheritance? Yes, Risha, you can call that. So if you're having only one level and if you're calling the direct class name, yeah, then it's called single inheritance. Is your doubt clear, Karthik?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're having the mac. Yeah, this is how you can override the method. Okay. And but if at all I want to use parent max speed only. Okay. See, here I'm having two max speeds, parent and child. When I'm using max speed, automatically it is using child max speed. Okay, but if at all I want to don't use this, I don't want to use this, I want to use the child parent max speed. Okay, then what? Okay, then you can come over here, and for example, if you have something, right, so I will show you over here only. So then actually you need to use something called as super. Okay, you have a method called as super dot max speed. Okay, you need to use super dot max speed. By using super dot max speed, what will happen? You see, Mm, as you can see, max speed is 100 kilometers per hour. What it is printing? It's printing the parent class. Okay. By using super, you can avoid the overriding. Okay. So that means inside this, you are saying, hey, go for.
Not created object for cars, created for vehicle.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. As you can see, here also it is printing the parent class. Okay, this super dot max speed, it is printing the parent class. Okay, after that it is printing the child class. Okay, but if I stop this, okay, if I stop this, right, so it is print, it will print only the this class. Okay, see, if I do this, okay, if I do this, that means what? I'm not printing anything. I don't have anything to print in the child class, right? And there is two max speeds. One is a parent class and one is a child class. Okay, and if I run this, the super dot max speed will trigger the parent class method. Okay, super will go to the parent class. Okay, so if I show you one more example, for example, you have a class of animal. Okay, and we are having name define is one of the method of the animal class. Okay, and there is a dog class which is inheriting the animal class, because all dogs are animals but all animals are not dogs. Okay, so whenever you see this type of combination, like all persons, sorry, all employees are persons but all persons are not employees, so in that case you can use the parent child combination. Okay, so here you can have, you can inherit the animal class. Okay, and you also have the same eat. Okay, same eat method over here also in child class also. Right, now if you have some labrador as an object created for this dog class, which is a child class, right, and if you are trying to call the method eat method, which is available both inside this class, if you just call, so it will print, I like to eat bones. Okay, it is overriding, it's getting this eat, this parent class eat is getting overridden by child class eat. Okay, that's why it's printing here. But if you use this, if you use super method and say super dot the method name. Okay, super dot method name, and you need to write this inside this function. Okay, you need to write this inside the child function. Okay, so because if you write it, if you write it somewhere over here, okay, that won't work. Okay, super, it will not work. So in which method you want to override, the inside that you should write. Okay, so here I'm writing means I'm saying, hey, override this eat by parent eat. Sorry, not override. Okay, if you don't write, it gets overridden. If you super, that means, hey, use the actual super, the parent super, not this super. Okay, so that's why when you, whenever it sees, it is going here, right? So whenever it sees super, so it will go here and it will print I can eat, and then it will go through this. Okay, see, actually what it is happening, if you observe what it is happening, if you try to think, see guys, the flow is actually, whenever you are calling an object laborator.eat, by default it is going to child method only. Okay, even if you write super, even if you don't write super, it is always going to child method only. But if you are not writing super, it is going to this, it is going to enter here, and there is no super, it will execute this. Agree? It will execute this. See, if there is no super, it will execute this. Okay, but it is coming here, it is coming here. Now if there is a super, if there is a super, what is happening? Even if there is super, now let's say there is super, still it is coming here, still it is coming here, it is entering, it is entering. But because there is a super dot eat, that means it is understanding, okay, I should not, I should go to here. Okay, it will go here. Okay, it will execute. Okay, after that, again it is coming back and printing this. Okay, as you can see, that's why when I have super, it is printing both the things. That means, in other words, you are just diverting the flow. Okay, the moment when the flow is here, you want to take the flow from here to the parent class, parent method. That's why you are using the super keyword. Okay, by using super keyword, you are just taking the flow from here to here, making it to execute what all you have over here, and after that it is coming back over here and it is doing the its job, it is following the code. If you don't want anything to write here, you can ignore this. Okay, you can just write this super so that it will stop the overriding and will print the parent class. Okay, but the point you should understand here is, even with super or without super, first of all, it is trying to trigger the what? It is trying to trigger the child method. Okay, it is trying to trigger the child method, because if at all there is no, if it is not triggering child method, if it's not triggering child method, how it can go to parent method when you are having super written inside the child method, right? Only if it is entering here, then only it will understand there is something super written, right? To reach this line, to reach this line, obviously it should enter the child eat method. Only then it can see super, then that flow can go here. Okay, so that means even with super, even with super or without super, the child method gets triggered. But if it is not, if there is no super, right, it will just execute the child method. But if there is a super, with the power of super is, it will take the control to the parent method, it will make execute this, and then it will just, it is just like what, it is just like, if you have something go to function, right? In other programming language, you will have go to. So whenever it sees go to, it will take the control to here, and after that, once it is done, it will follow the code, right? So similarly here also, the moment it sees super, it is taking the code to here, it will execute, then after that it will come back and it will execute what all you write here. Okay, what all you write here. Okay, so if I just have, I'm inside parent. Okay, okay, so it will first, it will come over here, so it will be printing this two, come back, print this two. Fine. So same thing, company super dot name. Okay, employee info. So if you use super, it will print Google. Okay, if you don't print super, okay, so here you not define any name itself. Okay, that's why it's giving error. Okay, but if you print super, it will print this. Okay, but let's fix to this example. Fine. So is this clear, guys? So the inheritance concept, so we have seen the basic inheritance. Okay, we have seen the basic inheritance, just inheriting. After that, multiple inheritance, taking from different parents. After that, multi-level inheritance, having a chain system, that is inheritance. After that, now what if the same methods are available in both parent and child class? Okay, if you by default the child class wins. Okay, it will override the parent class. Okay, and it will use all the child class methods if the name is matching same methods. But if at all you want to stop the overriding, you can use that by super method. The moment you use super method, the parent class method gets triggered and the child class methods. Okay, we'll, yeah. So initially the parent class child class method gets triggered, but obviously the control will go to the parent class method. Okay, and since you want to execute, the moment why you write the reason why you write super is you don't want the child class to execute, right? So that's why we normally don't write anything in the over here. Okay, so we just override, this will just avoid the overriding, right? Okay, then it will only print whatever you want over here in the parent class. Okay, so this is how overriding and super works. Is this clear, guys? The inheritance part?
Yes, sir. Sir, the example class vehicle and class animal is both the same, no, sir?
What?
Class vehicle and class animal after the overriding concept.
Yeah, this is same.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, like yeah. I mean the same examples, different variables.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now let's see. Yeah, see, but as I said, there are like lot of, if you want to go into details, right? So oops itself can take like 10 to 15 days, because in inheritance only you have single inheritance, you have multi inheritance, you have hierarchical inheritance. Okay, you have, as I said, multi-level inheritance, you have hybrid inheritance, you have cyclic inheritance. Okay, and then you have something called as composition. Okay, so lot of, and but as I said, so I'm not trying to make you a Python expert, because the goal is to get a job as soon as possible. Okay, make you be prepared for the data science interview. Okay, that is my goal, right? Our goal is, as I said, our goal in the first class, as I said, our goal is not to become Python expert or NumPy expert or this expert, that expert. Okay, but because nobody is expert in anything, we are collecting all the required skills. Okay, in every concept, whether Python stats or NumPy or pandas or feature engineering or machine learning or interview questions, all these things, so that you should be ready for the interview and get a job. Right, once you get a job, the best way to learn is then you can come back and dig into these concepts. Okay, because if you sit with Python to study Python itself, you can spend like some like 3 to 4 months, okay, in detail, but that's not recommended and that is not advised, because you're not going to use in depth. Okay, for example, I have used this oops in like 2 to 3 projects. Okay, we have not used at least inheritance also, right? So there might be some project, but most of the projects we have not used. But basically, they will use a class structure. You should have decent knowledge about what is a class, how you are accessing the objects, right? And that's it. We have used the basics of the oops itself. Okay, so if you want to study oops itself, you have in abstract only, you have a lot of, okay, in inheritance, as I said, so many. Okay, before coming to these concepts in the just the with the child and sorry with the class and object itself, you have like a lot of concepts. Okay, so I would say if you're interested, right? So I'm going to share the material, okay, all the required material for this. Okay, you can go through that. But as per my advice, in this stage while you are learning, right? So it's not to that level. It's not needed, I would say. Okay, so because spending so much time over here might delay, right? But if you are okay, then again it depends. Okay, for example, if it is for Karthik, if the goal is to get the job as soon as possible, then he can do it in the fast track, and he can just have some basics knowledge, and then he can move on and try to get prepared, have overall knowledge about the data science. But for Megan and Sirisha, like if you are okay, right? If you want to go it in a slow manner, like okay, slow and steady ways, then you can, I can share you the material, all the required material, so you can go through oops in depth. Okay, but as per my practical experience, you the basic knowledge of it should be helpful. But anyhow, once you have the basic, right, anytime if you want something, you can come back and increase that, right? Which we and I and everybody in the industry do. Okay, so that's about the inheritance. Okay, so now let's see something called as encapsulation. Okay, so now coming to encapsulation, see, uh fine. So just if I tell you, give a basic example. So in, okay, but one more point. So if, but is that okay for you guys, like the way, or do you want like to you know, cover in depth of oops, like if you want to know like in and out of the oops, or is the method which I've suggested, is that okay? Mm-hmm.
It is okay, sir. Can send us notes. We will refer later.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll share the notes. No worries. You will have detailed. Fine. So now coming to encapsulation, right? So yeah, so it is a property of OOPS, like where it will, yeah, it will try to, yeah, just like for example, if you're taking a capsule, right? Same thing it comes here. If you're taking a capsule, so you don't know what all there in the capsule, okay? But it works. Why? You're just using all of those and putting into one capsule and trying to use them at once, right? Similarly here also in encapsulation, you are trying to capsule, okay, you are trying to capsule different objects into one. Okay, you're passing different into one, and you're using them in multiple ways. Okay, let's see, we'll see example. Okay, see in encapsulation, so if you see for example passing objects as arguments. Okay, so yeah, so here the main concept is you'll pass the objects as an argument. Okay, so till now what we have seen, we are creating objects, right? Wherever you have seen, you have created an object, and with object you are using method, object dot method. Okay, you're creating the object and passing, you're using object dot method or object dot attribute name, like that. Okay, but in encapsulation, you can pass the whole object itself as a parameter. Okay, we'll see. For example, here I'm creating a tire class. Okay, and this is an engine class, body class. Okay, and now you're having a car class. Okay, so it's fine. So you have different classes: tire, engine, body, and car. Now you are creating what I'm doing here. T is an object of tire class. Okay, T is an object of tire class. Okay, and it is expecting three things, as you can see: branch, bias, or pressure. Okay, so when why I'm giving that, because it will initiate this, it will trigger automatically this, and this is expecting not four but only three. Self is self. Okay, three. That's why I'm passing three things over here. Okay, and right, so this is a string method. When this gets triggered, guys, can someone tell me when the string method gets triggered? Anyone? Oh, Srisha, did you say something? I just saw you unmuted and again muted.
I think it's automatically triggered sir, while creating the option.
Oh, no. In today's class only I told this.
Yes.
No one? Oh, oh, oh. Oh, am I going too fast, guys? Is the speed is more? Are you guys? Okay, fine. See, in the first few minutes of this class, I told str string gets triggered when you are trying to print an object. Okay, it's not while you're creating an object. You see here, if I comment this, if I'm just creating an object, only the constructor will get triggered. Okay, so but when I try to print an object, only then the string function gets triggered automatically. Okay, the string will get printed when you print the object. Okay, as I said, let me know, guys, if you're not following or if you're not, if you think I'm going fast, then just raise a flag. Ultimately, this is for you, not me. Okay, fine. So if you see here, now you have tire, engine, all these classes, and what I'm doing, I'm having a tire object T and engine object, body object. Okay, three objects: tire, engine, body. Tire, engine, body. Okay, so I'm passing all the required. For body there is only one size I have required, so medium I passed. Okay, three objects created. Now coming to the car. Okay, now car will need all these three. Car will need all these three: tire also, engine also, body also. Okay, so I am doing what? I am just passing the objects. Okay, I'm passing objects as parameters, as you can see, which is never done till now. See, this is an object. T is an object of tire class, tire object. I'm passing engine object E, body object B. Okay, you're passing objects as an arguments. Okay, that is encapsulation. The moment when you do this, okay, the moment when you do this, right? So you can just create, see, three objects you have created and you have done this, right? And you don't know what all it's written in here in tire, engine, body class. Okay, you don't know what all are there over here. Okay, but still you can just encapsulate it this way and you can access all those. Just like if you're taking a pill, if you're taking a medicine, right, you don't know what all it's, what is the composition of that, right? What chemicals are there, you are not sure. Okay, you were just encapsulating all that medicine inside a capsule and you are taking that. Okay, and internally it will work similarly. These are the objects. Okay, you are not sure what all what is there over here. You can just use them as an arguments for passing to what, for my car class. Okay, for my car class I'm passing, it requires three things, right? What it requires, it requires tire, engine, body. Okay, so these three arguments I'm passing objects itself. Okay, I'm passing what, I'm passing objects, right? So after that, when I'm printing, right, so when you're printing, right, so when you're printing, only when I print, this string functions gets executed, as you can see. Okay, so all the string functions gets executed only when you try to print an object. If I'm commenting that, you cannot say anything. Okay, when I print that, automatically it is printing. Where are these available? As you can see, tire, engine, body. Tire is present over here. Okay, some engine is present over here. Okay, in the string function, tire is present in the string function, engine is present in the string function. Okay, body is present in the string function. Okay, all the string functions get executed only when you are trying to print an object. Okay, so now the point over here is what happens in the encapsulation is when you're using objects, okay, as parameters for the car class. Okay, so TEB, so this becomes TEB. Okay, self dot tires, self dot this. Okay, now what is self dot tires? Okay, what is tires? What is tires? Tires is an object of tire class, and when it comes to over here, when it want to print, okay, when it want to print self dot tires, it will trigger to the this. Okay, it will try to print. Okay, see here, C is an car object, C is a car object. Okay, if it want to print, if it want to execute the string statement, string function. Okay, since you are encapsulating all the tire, engine, body objects, all the respective functions, all the respective string functions of this tire, engine, body gets triggered. Okay, so that's why That's why what's happening, self dot tires. Okay, initially this gets initialized because you are calling a car object, this gets initialized, and then you can see self dot tires as tires is what, tires is t. T is what, if you go to t is the object of this, and what it is having, it is having this. Okay, this gets printed. Self dot branch, what is branch? Parallelly, parallelly true to. Okay, so branch parallelly bias true optimal pressure 2, that is getting printed. Okay, from where it is getting printed, from this string, but these, all these are getting triggered from in this internal. Okay, the flow is from t to here, from here to tire, from tire to self dot tire. Okay, from self dot tire to self dot tire. Okay, this is getting this is getting printed, but from where this is getting printed, because this tire is an object of, the t is an object of tire class, it, this string function will pick it from this string function. Okay, similarly engine, engine is picking from where, this engine. Okay, this engine object, we are passing it as an object, that's the main thing, you are passing it an object. So this engine is self dot engine. Okay, what is this engine? It is trying to print self dot engine, but this string function will trigger its corresponding encapsulated engine function, which is getting encapsulated. This engine object is getting encapsulated, so it will trigger this function and it will print engine fuel type noise. Okay, engine fuel type noise. Similarly for the body. Okay, similarly for the body. Okay, so this is how you can use. Okay, this is not inheritance, this, you are not inheriting the properties, you are encapsulating the whole object as an argument and you are passing. Okay, so this is,
Yes.
yeah.
So we can
So
use inheritance concept also, no, sir, here.
What?
We can use inheritance concept also, no, sir, here.
See, inheritance concept. So if I don't want to use any of the parents methods, right? So in encapsulated method, how you can pass the objects? Sorry, in inheritance method, how you can pass the objects to the child class? Inheritance is when you want to use, okay, when you want to use certain properties of parent class into the child class. Okay, here I don't want to, I'm not using the actual properties. Okay, I want to just pass, I want to pass the objects, okay, of this complete parent class. Okay, it's complete parent class, I am saying it as an object t, I'm doing b, I'm doing c. Okay, I'm passing those values to this. Okay, for example, I will show you one more example of encapsulation, you'll understand. See here, yeah, so here let's say you are having class dog. Okay, what is class dog? Class dog is having some initialization. Okay, and here you are having some string. Okay, and now dog is what, now when I said dog, passing three values, bulldog 1954 Leica. Okay, and it is printing what, it is printing bulldog is a Leica born in 1954. Okay, this is a normal class object function. But now if you see over here, if you see class students, okay, and you are doing the same thing. Okay, and student class, this is a student class. To the student, if I'm passing some value, okay, some, what I can pass, if I pass some Rahul, yeah, so I'm passing Rahul. Okay, and we are passing the Alex students, right? So what it is printing, see, try to understand. Student is this class. Okay, I'm printing these two values, so this is getting triggered. What is getting triggered? This is getting triggered and it is printing in place of self dot anagraphic. Okay, so it is taking Rahul name and ID is 1. Okay, that's why it's printing Rahul student 1. Okay, Rahul, this is Rahul student ID 1. It is printing, this is printing, this is simple. But now in the place of Rahul, okay, in the place of Rahul, I want to pass the complete object. So if I pass this object, which is an object of dog class, okay, here you are passing the object of dog class as an parameter. as a parameter to this, what is the student class, right? So what I'm able to do, I'm able to use, okay, I'm able to use the complete, what is this bulldog? This bulldog is a Leica born in 1954, right? Bulldog is Leica born in 1954. That whole thing is now this, okay? That whole thing is now this. Now if I pass this, now if I pass this bulldog, okay, as an what? As an argument to this function, to the student function. Now can you see what it is getting printed? This bull, now this student anargraphic is this bulldog is a Leica 1954, okay? This whole itself, just like how Rahul is this, now this whole thing is this, okay? And student ID 2. So here we are using the complete object, okay? You're using complete object as a parameter, right?
Yeah. So now you are telling you have encapsulated entire that above one into that bulldog object, and that object we are passing over here
Correct.
using binding it to a single object and passing.
Correct,
That's what,
correct.
right?
Yeah, yes, you're binding this complete object over here, right? So correct. But with this object, right? In inheritance, you can use the methods also. Okay. In inheritance, you can use the methods of this parent class also into the child class. Okay. But in encapsulation, using this bulldog, you might not use the parent methods. Okay. You are just encapsulating these values. Okay. And you are passing it over here. Okay. If at all you are having this methods, it will print. But just like how it's happening in the inheritance, I don't think you can use all the methods of the parent class using encapsulation. Okay. See, in basically in inheritance, what it happens, the subclass will inherit what it will do, it will inherit all the methods or the attributes of the superclass or the actual parent class. Okay, but in encapsulation, what it happens, you are encapsulating object of one class as a parameter of another class. Okay, and using this, you may not be able to use the methods. Okay, just if you want to use an object as a parameter over here, and if you want to print something, okay, if you want to use inherit, not inherit, sorry, if you want to access all the properties of this object, you can just pass them as an object. Okay, but using this object, okay, using this object itself, right, I don't think you can use all the methods, what all are available in the parent class. You may not be able to access all those, just like how we are doing in the inheritance. Uh, is it getting clear, Sirisha, or?
So, somewhat confused. Encapsulation concept.
Okay, fine. Let me complete this. I'll try to show you a few more examples. Okay. Oh, it's already 7:37. Okay, fine. We have one more concept called as polymorphism. Okay, fine. We'll take that tomorrow. Fine, no worries. I'll show you a few more examples tomorrow. Then tomorrow we'll try to inheritance is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So tomorrow I'll show you a few more examples of encapsulation, and we can also complete the polymorphism. Right, because the plan is yeah, to conclude Python in the next week. We have, yeah, just if I tell you the plan, so tomorrow we'll try to conclude what oops, and Friday and Saturday we can go for file handling, exception handling, sorry, not file handling, exception handling. And on Monday we can have file handling, and Tuesday decorators, Wednesday iterators, and Thursday assertions, and pickling. And Friday you have log, you can go for something concept logging, or what do we have? We have let me see, we have, yeah, so decorated iterators assertions logging, yeah. So obviously it gets one more, somewhere one more day gets delayed, yeah. So the plan is we can wrap up in on 7th, and on from 9th we are going to start stats. Okay, so this Python, I think you might be already knowing some of the concepts, most of them, right? But from stats, I think it will be very new and it will be more interesting for you guys. Okay, fine. So that's all for today. We can meet tomorrow for next class. If there are any doubts, you can ask me.
No doubt, sir. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Thanks, guys.